I've been experimenting with ways to bring meaning into my gel prints, and turning these words into masks just opened up a whole new technique. You might have seen that I've done videos before with Tyvek paper. So what is Tyvek paper? Well, this is Tyvek paper. You can't tear it. They use it at the post office for priority mail envelopes. I think FedEx also uses them. This is where I store papers that I have. These are some stencils that I've made. Anyway, this is an envelope. So I had some Tyvek envelopes that I never used. So I used them to cut up stencils. I've also bought, these are 8.5 by 11 sheets, and you know, again, can't rip it. And I can cut out stencils with it. Well, I got to thinking, because I cut stencils on a Cricut machine. And I know many of you have Cricut machines. Maybe you don't have top of the line Cricut or whatever. Doesn't matter. But guess what? I look what I did. These are made out of, I did this right in the design studio, or Cricut Design Space, whatever they call it. I just typed in the word and then like changed the letter spacing so that they crashed into each other so that they're all connected. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this, I love how the paint looks after I've been using it a while, and I turn it over and I like, what is that? It's gorgeous. Like this. This piece right here was a piece of Tyvek that I just randomly cut, was using it to print, turned it over at one point, and just, you know, I talked about that recently in a video where I did a full stencil. Don't know where it is right now, but that got me thinking about doing these letters. And so I just thought today I would play a little bit with these and see what happens. So also I'm gonna use this session to test this new paper that I got. So one of you, I don't remember who it was, I'm so sorry, but one of you suggested I try this paper. It's a Blick white sulfite drawing paper. It is acid free. It's not as thin as I had hoped it would be, but it is a thin paper. I want to see how it prints. I also have a couple of sheets of medical exam paper because I might want the imprint of this to be transparent. So we're just going to play, and we're going to see how fantastic these look with the paint on them afterwards. And because I can now, because this is very thin and kind of indestructible, I can then glue it into a collage or a piece of it or whatever. And you can type any word you want. It doesn't even have to be a real word. You can combine different shaped letters just because you like the shape, like an ampersand, and you know, combine some other ones and just have them crash together, and it makes an interesting shape. Oh my God, that's an idea I just came up with. But anyway, want to give that a try. All right, so let's just throw down some paint and make a background to start. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to do voiceover from here on because I want to get into the flow. Okay, so I hope you don't mind that I'm doing the voiceover, but I really wanted to just concentrate on printing and not have to talk. So another reason why I wanted to do this with words, if you're familiar with my artwork, there's always words and phrases, positive thoughts, affirmations, whatever you want to call them. There's always a little bit of inspiration in each piece. And so this is another way of incorporating some words. I believe that even if you can't read it, that when it's embedded in the artwork, the energy of that thought or phrase or affirmation is still with that piece of artwork. But in this case, I'm going to be playing around. I'm going to be positioning them, overlaying them. It's going to make odd shapes. This is the very first time I'm doing it. I'm experimenting. You're watching me. You're looking over my shoulder as I experiment. So the first couple of ones might not come out that great, but we'll see. Another thing that I love about the Tyvek paper is the ghosts that we get. We get like more of an outline because so much of the paint gets stuck to the paper. But then we get these fabulous words that have paint on them that will also be able to be used in collage. It's like I get the benefit of both. So I'm using this new paper, and I am loving the way it prints. It's that sulfite paper, like I said. I just wish it was a little bit thinner. I'm going to keep looking. I think this was 50 pound. I don't know if there's something thinner than that, but it would be nice. I'm also going to cut a couple of random pieces just so I have a little bit more to play with. I should have printed more of these and maybe various sizes. And like I said, I've got this idea of also just using random letters and creating odd shapes with it. So I will be definitely doing that in the future. I am loving that I can use Tyvek paper with my Cricut. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but it cut really well. I just used a standard mat, and I used one of the presets for paper or cardstock. So I'm just creating another one of those like big comb-like stencils, masks, just to have something in addition to the letters. Kind of looks like a big letter of some kind. So I like what I'm getting so far. It's not fantastic, but I'm getting in the flow.
Don't talk, Susan. Stop talking.
I'm still thinking colors, testing the paper. When I'm experimenting, I want to use the time to also, like, you know, test colors and various layering techniques. So I do a few things that I don't normally do. And I also wanted to try overlaying them like this to see what happens. We are going to get some unreadable words, but it might be interesting. It might make a interesting shape. So that's a little too expected for me. I do love what happened with the actual mask itself. The paint on it looks kind of cool. And now we're going to pick up the ghost with the other one. So it's a very faint ghost, and it's kind of cool. So I'm going to pick this up with some Indian yellow, and I'm letting it smear. I'm going to pick this up with the medical exam paper. I wasn't as careful putting it down, so it wrinkled a little bit, but that's okay. I like the wrinkles. And I also love how like subtle the word is there. And so now I'm going to start really getting into the flow and getting more experimental with my choices. So I'm going to split the plate with two colors. This is Indian yellow and quinacridone red. And I'm going to overlay that. So because these two colors are very transparent, this should still have some transparency to it if I was going to be using it in collage. So this kind of random paint on the masks is what I was really hoping for. Like, look at this one. So, you know, the more you use it, the most amazing things happen by accident. At least we hope. So in this case, I'm going to let this paint dry, and then we're going to pick it up probably with a lighter color because I want that yellow to show up. So I think I'm going to go for the Titan Buff. It's a nice neutral color. And because we had the medical exam paper and it wrinkled a little bit, it left us with a nice grungy background. So we should have some, you know, on top of the Titan Buff, we should have some interesting grunge. So I noticed with the sulfite paper, I only need to leave it about a minute and a half, and it picks up pretty cleanly. Keep in mind I'm using a fluid paint. So I like how that looks, but let's now try to go for an intentional ghost that's Payne's Gray. So if you're wondering, I'm using Nova Color paint mostly, except for that Titan Buff, that was golden. And Nova Color is also very fluid, similar to the fluidity of golden. And I did add a little bit of golden's open medium to it just to slow down the dry time because it dries so fast. I will put a link to their website below. You can only buy Nova Color from Nova Color. So this should make an interesting transparent paper, but I'm probably going to overlay on it so there might not be any transparency left to it when I'm done. And we have an interesting ghost now. So I'm going to pick that up with two colors. Again, we're going to use the quinacridone red and the Indian yellow. We're going to go in the other direction. I'm going to do like a 2/3, 1/3. Let it blend a little bit. And we're picking up again with the sulfite paper. So I really love where it blended but didn't blend over on the right hand side. And we've got this orange with this little orb of yellow. So I'm very happy with that paper. So this is a quinacridone purple. It's another beautiful transparent color. I'm going to try overlaying again a little bit differently this time. And I'm going to go over that same paper. Oh yeah. Yeah, that really improved that paper. I mean, I loved the paper before, but it's even better now. Okay, so now we have this purple that we have to be careful what to overlay that on because it could go brown. So I'm thinking carefully here. Okay, so I have a quick announcement. On Black Friday, I am launching my first gel printing course. So it's called The Joy of Gel Printing, and it is for beginners. So this course will help you gain the confidence to create prints that you know you're going to love every single time. Like every single time you sit at a session, you're going to end up with a bunch of prints that you love. We're going to learn everything from paints to pulling to layering techniques to papers. We're going to have some bonus videos about, keeping your tools clean and in good condition. We're going to cover everything that you need to know as a beginner to become good at this fun technique. It's launching on Black Friday, but I'm today launching my wait list. So you sign up for the wait list and you'll get an additional $10 off the already discounted Black Friday price. The link to the wait list is below, but if you're on a TV, here's a QR code. Go sign up for the wait list. Then on Black Friday, take a look in your email and you will have the coupon code so that you could save your an additional $10. I hope you'll join me. I'm so excited about this first gel printing course. Anyway, let's get back to this video. And I decided to go with the light teal. I do love this purple and teal combination. So I thought I was just going to pick up with it, and then I started laying down the masks again. And I'm going to go right over this Payne's Gray that we did. Now that very opaque teal is really going to make this less of a transparent paper. But we have some transparency there. And now I'm wishing that there wasn't any, but I'm loving this. The word create, I think, came out really great on the back side of it. It's something that I'm probably going to want to use. But see the interesting paint on the words themselves? And I'm also loving what's left on the plate. But this is starting to look great. Like now I'm getting somewhere. Happy with both the word create and the actual mask and that last print that I did. I'm going to try to pick this ghost that's left with this yellow. It's a greenish yellow. And I think this comes right out of the jar, this color. I don't think I've mixed this with anything. So now I'm going to lay down my masks again. So when we pick up the ghost that was left on the plate, the mask is going to not pick up there. So this should be interesting. I don't know. Usually I don't do something like this unless I already have like a background, a simple background printed on the paper. I do like the ghost though. But now we have the text with the ghost in there, with parts of that ghost. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try just picking that part up because I don't like that I have that raw paper where the letters were. So I'm going to try to put like a band of this quinacridone red over that green and see what happens. I'm trying to just get a cleaner edge. I'm going to try to go where the text was. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The red part, I'm unhappy with the green part. Some of the paint that's left on the plate, I'm trying to get onto the letters themselves, but not successful. So I'm going to lay down just half the mask there, and I'm going to pick it up with some deli paper because I think it might be an interesting paper to have in my stash. If you're familiar with my artwork, you know that I like to have the words go off the top of the canvas, and I do like how that mask now has red on half of it. So here I was really just trying to get the paint onto the actual mask so that I can use it in collage and it would look a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to pick up this little mess that we have on the plate. It'll maybe make a good background or something. Yeah, really cleaned it cleans parts of the plate really well, but didn't clean other parts. I still have some grunge on the plate. So sometimes you'll see that when you put down fresh paint, it kind of reactivates the dry paint that's on the plate and it kind of all smears together. It gives you an interesting background. That's a nice, interesting, grungy background.
Right.
So at this point, I had that paper that I really loved with all the Payne's gray and the light teal, and it had some transparency. So I thought I would put white down as a background and print on the underside of the medical exam paper. So now it's not a transparent paper anymore, but it is a very thin paper and it's still going to be fantastic to work with. And I have some nice wrinkles that are white now on the plate, so we'll do something with that. So I'm starting with this teal color. This is the one that I created with Nova Color that is almost a match to Golden's teal. So I don't want to ruin the front side of these anymore, so I'm using the back side of them, the underside. So all the text will be backwards when I print. But I didn't want to get, especially something as strong and as opaque as teal, I didn't want to get any more of that on the front. So it's interesting, you could still tell they're letters, but now it's just abstract. And I'm going to try to, while it's still wet, try anyway, to lay it down on another print. I got some of it.
Okay.
So now we have a fainter ghost. So this is Liquitex matte fluid medium. And I'm going to use that to get on top of this lime, it's not lime green, it's like a yellow green background with a little bit of quinacridone red mixed in with it. So it might be nice. I'm using the matte fluid medium because it's clear and it's not going to add any additional colored paint to that background layer. Now this takes a little bit longer to dry because it's very wet, it's very fluid. So I usually leave it like a full 2 minutes, maybe 2.5. But I love the way this came out. You don't see any letters in there really, but it's just a beautiful paper. A mishmash of color. So since it's so nice, I think I just want a single word to print on it. So I am going to ruin one of these because I want it to be readable. So it's a shame, but it has to be done. Like I said, I wish I had cut a number of these. Then I could have really played a little bit more with it. So this is just Payne's Gray, and I'm going to go for the ghost. I'm going to get like a nice torn edge here. And I'm going to put peace down. So I was looking for a thin paper to print over, so I figured why not. But it didn't pick up all of the Payne's Gray, so I'm going with a deli paper to get a cleaner ghost. Still kind of grungy, but it's cleaner. And we're going to put that more towards the top. So see, now my piece is all to Payne's Gray. That's a shame. But I have these other fantastic papers. Like I think that deli paper is great, and so is the medical exam. Plus this one came out really nice. Okay, this is like a naphthol red mixture with a little bit of yellow. So I just can't leave well enough alone, so I'm adding some red to that mask because I know I'm going to want to use it at some point. So these things kind of work out better when you don't plan them. So a lot of times when I'm doing Tyvek paper and I'm not planning for them to be beautiful in the end, they are beautiful in the end, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
I'm talking about the masks themselves looking beautiful. Okay, so this one here with the blue and the purple and the Payne's Gray is probably my favorite. Absolutely love the urban feel of the whole thing, and I'm happy I put the white on the back, so now it can be used as a regular paper. And this one I really love too. I think it's the background. What an accident that was, but it just, it has some subtle, you can see love in there kind of subtly. But yeah, I'm very happy with those two papers. This one was just so-so. It's okay. You know, early on, I'm still getting in the flow. There's pieces of these papers that I could probably use. This one even has some gorgeous areas like that one I was just circling. It's just okay, but I love the colors. Now, the paint on the actual pieces, it's just so-so. I think I was paying too much attention to that. If I just let it happen organically, I think it comes out better. I should have had a lot more of these cuts so that I could have played around a little bit more. But sometimes you also have to do a really long session for them to get to a point where you like it. This deli paper came out really nice. It was just meant as a cleanup, but perfect. And this one I love. You want to talk about urban feel. This definitely has it. So definitely going to use pieces of that in a collage. This paper turned out really beautiful just in itself. I love it. I love the overlay. And this red area I love, but even in the green areas there are pieces I can use in collage. I'll have to see if I like working with the sulfite paper with collage. We'll see. This deli paper was also supposed to be a cleanup. Gorgeous. That word love will make its way into a collage, I can guarantee it. So thank you for watching. I had a great time this week. This one was a really fun project. I like experimenting. I hope you do too. Anyway, don't forget to create, inspire, and share, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.